So the big question is this: how do young men like us, who didn't listen to society, who are on our own, how do we grow and improve ourselves so that we can live a better tomorrow? That is the question, and this show will give you the answers. My name is James Radzinski, and welcome to the Ascend Momentum Show. Welcome back, everyone. So I want to start things off by saying this is the second episode I recorded today. I just want to let you guys know because I like documenting and letting you guys know the journey so you guys can see what's going on and go on a journey on your own and go on your own journey. And I just want you guys to see how simple it is to achieve the life you want. So that's all. But as you guys can see from the episode title, I am recording another Transurfing Principles episode. So all of these principles are my interpretation of well, let me start by this. I'm reading my notes from the book Reality Transurfing by Vadim Zeland. And many of the notes are exact copies. I think all of the notes are taken straight from the book, most of them at least. But my interpretation and the thoughts I have to say afterwards are simply just my interpretation of what I've read so far. And I am a beginner. I am not an expert at transurfing. I am just learning it. So do not take everything I say into heart. And I regret not saying this in my previous episodes about Transurfing Principles, but I'm saying it now. So I'm learning just like you, and I'm still trying to figure things out. So here are Reality Transurfing Principles by Vadim Zeland. And by the way this will work is I'm just going to read what I wrote, and it's just a review of my notes from the past 10 days, 7 days or so of reading the book. So I'm just going to read what I wrote and then say my thoughts on it. Let's get into it. No one particularly notices what you look like. This is very beneficial information to know, especially if you struggle with social anxiety and worrying about what you look like, worrying about how you appear. No one really notices. So all of that energy is just wasted. Like, you don't need to waste all this energy worrying about how you look, because if you're in the moment, you can't change it. So you might as well just accept the fact. But also, no one even really notices. And you can ask yourself for proof. Do you notice people you see on a day-to-day basis, or people you like random strangers you see? Do you really notice what they look like? Like, do you notice whether it's good or bad? And this is people that are not in your inner circle, so your closest people. These are just people that you see on a day-to-day basis, normal people. And if you're like most, you'll know that you don't notice what other people look like. And what I found is that when I do notice what someone looks like and I think, oh, that's bad, or I think that's ugly, or whatever, it's simply because I have that exact same thing and I'm just insecure about it. So that's something to think about. If you notice something ugly, you got to check yourself. Switch your attention to qualities you do like about yourself and other attributes you would like to acquire. So this is huge. This is something that I've been doing since I started lifting. When I started lifting, I was skinny, and I did not like that, but I didn't focus on that. I used to focus on how jacked I was, even though I wasn't jacked. And I used to be like, man, I'm a beast. And I used to be super hype in the mirror, and I was like, yeah, let's go. And I would just focus on the qualities that I strive to acquire. And now I've acquired it, and I'm still acquiring more. So that's great. Switch your attention from the negative to the positive. So this is just, it seems obvious. Like, if I explain it to you, use common sense. Do you want to be focusing on negatives all the time? What are the benefits to focusing on the negative all the time? I can't think of any benefits to focusing on negative and thinking about the negative. There are absolutely no benefits to that. But there are benefits. You feel better if you think about the positive. And you radiate positive energy. So then your lifelines, so your life starts to shift to attune to that energy. And then you begin to manifest more of that energy into your layer. And then it's just a positive feedback loop from there. That's why people go on a downhill once they start thinking negative. And also the saying of rose-tinted glasses, that was according to Vadim Zeland, it was actually created by pessimists. They would say that because they were too uncomfortable with seeing things in the positive. So they wanted to steer people away from it. And so they created the term rose-tinted glasses. Give yourself permission to be worthy of luxury. So this is something that this belief was instilled in me. I used to think I always have to be cheap. I always have to be getting the cheapest items. But now that I'm learning more, why do I have to be cheap? But like all richer people, like let's say Jeff Bezos, why do I have to be cheap, but he gets to have luxury? Well, it's because he chose luxury. I don't even know if he lives in luxury, but I'm using him as example because he's one of the richest men in the world. So he chose luxury, and I chose cheapness. That's simply what I chose. So you just got to shift that and give yourself permission to be worthy of luxury. Because that's really all there is to it. If you think that you are not worthy of luxury and you think that you always have to go with the cheap option, well, that's what you're going to get. And it just makes sense, it seems to me. Maybe I'm missing a piece, but I don't know. It just seems like it makes sense. If you believe you're worthy of luxury, you'll get it. It is essential to give yourself permission to have. All right, so everyone has goals. Everyone has dreams and aspirations, whether they used to and they got squashed or they still do. If you have a dream and you're striving towards it, and then you give yourself permission to have that dream, and then you'll have it. But if you're striving towards it and you don't give yourself permission to have, like you don't think you'll get it, and you don't think all this stuff, well, that just doesn't make sense because you're just hurting yourself. If you believe and you know that you'll get it and you give yourself permission to have it, well then it just seems like it makes sense that you would get it. Now, I could be missing something in this world. So far, I haven't achieved my goal, but things are changing, and next month I'll be in Florida. I gave myself permission to be in Florida next month, so things will be changing over the course of the next month. And I don't know, it just seems like the reason why there's different like levels of luxury in this world is simply because people feel that they deserve poverty, or since they were born in poverty, they have to live there forever. That's not true. I was born in middle class, and I don't think that I should live there forever. So I will move up to the upper class because I'm going to choose that. Now, I haven't gotten it yet, but I've only really been striving towards it for like 2 months now. So it's really just a matter of time until it happens. It's all about the mindset. Even if you don't believe in this manifestation stuff and all this energy stuff, it's like you can agree that the mindset of if you don't believe you'll have something and you don't give yourself permission to have it, well, then your mind is simply just not going to want to get it. Or your mind is simply just not going to go for it if you don't even believe it's possible. And it's funny because there are so many stories of rags to riches. Like, I think it was Jeff Bezos literally built Amazon in a garage. That is a rags to riches story. So if that's possible, like, what's the difference between his heart and our heart? Like, what's the difference between him and us? Absolutely nothing. We're both human beings. So then why does he get that and why do we not? Well, it's because he chose it. He simply chose to get that. Like, he didn't get it on accident. It was not bestowed upon him. He had the right mindset and he had the right work ethic. He got that. And anyone can do that. Anyone can do something similar to that, but not everyone does because their mindset is not correct. They think that the world has instilled beliefs in them that they're not capable of greatness. And, well, they aren't while they have those beliefs. But once they change those beliefs, well, then they're going to be great because it's really all about the mindset. And I started to realize that maybe like 5 months ago before I started reading Transurfing. Because let's say 11 months ago, around September last year, September to October, I started reading books, and I was reading nonfiction self-help books. And the first books I would read were about how to breathe properly, how to break up with your phone, how to sleep, how to have a good diet, all the basics of self-improvement. And then I got to a point where I'm like, okay, I've done all this. And then I kind of had this feeling that the next step was to improve my mindset because I'd focus on all of this physical stuff. I'd focus on all of this like cognitive, physical, like improving my physique, improving my health, all of this stuff I've improved. But I missed one thing, and I knew that the brain and your mindset was so important. I mean, I didn't really know. I just heard. I kind of had a feeling that it was important, but I was kind of just ignoring it and putting it to the side. And then I decided to change that, and I decided that I wanted to read a book about mindset. And so I didn't really specifically search for a book like that. I was just kind of on TikTok one day, or YouTube Shorts one day, which is basically TikTok. And I was scrolling through, and then I saw a video clip by, what was his name? I don't even remember his name. He was like an entrepreneur. I don't even know. Oh, it's Iman Gotzi. Iman Gotzi. I was watching a YouTube short by Iman Gotzi, and it was it was just like a quick 15-second short. I don't even know if it was by him, but it was about him, and it was probably about some like fan account or something like that. And it was just a quick clip where he was talking about how, I read this book when I was 17, and then that's all I remember about the clip. And I'm pretty sure that was it. I'm pretty sure he just said, I read this book when I was 17. And then it flashed a picture on the screen of what the book was called, and it was Reality Transurfing Parts 1 through 5. Just a picture of that cover. And then for some reason I was like, okay. And then I looked up that book, and it was $50. And I was like, okay, bro, there's no way I'm going to buy this book for $50. And it's 750 pages long. And I was thinking, okay, no, there's no way. I just watched a 15-second YouTube short, and then I ended up buying it. For some reason, I kind of just did it. I was like, okay, no, this is it. Let's do it. And then I decided to buy it. And when it got here, I was like, this is the biggest book I've ever seen. and I didn't want to read it all. And in fact, I didn't read it all. I read like the first 300 pages and then got bored and switched books and then read like 4 different books after that, maybe 5, I don't know. And then I went back after I told my friend how good it was. And then I went back and realized that it was actually good again and finished it. And finishing it changed my life. Starting it changed my life also, but finishing it changed my life even more. And then rereading it changed my life even more. And like, that is what I'm realizing. There are successful people. It's the successful people who don't give in to the delusion that society places in them. Like, society literally tells us things that we're not capable of greatness, that only few people can be great. No. Like, what's the difference between me and a person who's about to be great in 10 years that is on the up and coming right now? So let's say there's me and then my neighbor. And I'm just using this as an example so you guys can see. I'm not talking about my actual neighbor. I'm just using the neighbor analogy. There's me and my neighbor. We are both working towards something. My neighbor is destined for greatness. He is one of the chosen ones. Well, what made him be the chosen one? It's because he chose to be the chosen one. So now I learned that, and now guess what? I'm going to be the chosen one as well, and I'm going to choose to be a chosen one. So it's really just all about the mindset, and it does not come easy because my mind and your mind has been shaped all of our lives, and even now to this day, my mind is still getting molded by society, but now I'm conscious of it. And for the past 17 years of my life, my mind has been molded to basically reflect society's viewpoints. And then it wasn't until 5 months ago when I actually started to create my own viewpoints about transurfing and learn the transurfing principles. And now that I'm studying it, I'm slowly but surely changing my mind and shaping my mind to be more successful. Because if you took my mind 1 year ago, that mind is not destined for greatness. That mind is not capable of great things because that mind thinks that it's so limited in its beliefs. That my mind 1 year ago just did not think anything was possible. But now my mind is starting to become great. It's starting to be molded. And then 5 months from now, it's going to be even better. And it's simply all about reshaping your worldview. You can achieve anything you want if you succeed in toppling the monolith of common sense. This is exactly what I'm talking about. You can achieve anything. There's no difference between you and 15-year-old Jeff Bezos, assuming you're 15 years old. There's no difference between you and the same age Jeff Bezos. The only difference is Jeff Bezos toppled the monolith of common sense. Common sense told Jeff Bezos that he is not capable of doing what he's about to do. And that it was just simply the world trying to hold him back so the world could gain the energy from him. But Jeff Bezos destroyed that and went on to do it anyways. I don't know why I'm using Jeff Bezos as an example so much. It's just he's the first richest man that popped in my head. So I'm using it as an example. Outer intention does not manifest straight away. It is gradual and requires patience and perseverance. That is huge. Outer intention is basically the world helping you to achieve your goals. Now, you can't become the richest man in the world right away. It takes gradual. Jeff Bezos worked towards it for years, and then he got it. So it took a while, but it does happen. And he had a lot of patience and perseverance to get through that. Money is an attribute, not a means, and certainly not a goal. So this is one of the big mistakes that most people make. They realize that money can buy all of their goals. All their goals can basically be achieved by money. So they disregard their goals and only focus on money. But there's an issue with that, and it's that money is elusive. Money is like a cat. If you try to chase after the cat, it'll just run away. But if you have cheese or food in your hand and lure the cat over, then it will come. And the way you do that, that cheese is your goals. So if you set yourself your goal, and it's your goal, actually your goal, then you start to set towards that goal, money will come on its own. Money will come to you on its own accord. But money is not the goal. You cannot chase after money, because then it will just be, it will never come. Visualize the process, not the goal. So this is a big mistake that most people make. They visualize the end goal. Most people simply just visualize the end goal like they're watching a film. So they just see the house. That's mistake number one. You should participate in it. You should go walk around in the house, cook dinner in the house, sit on the sofa, watch TV in the house. Make it your house in your visualization. But mistake number two is they're visualizing something that's way too far in the future. The visualization is not effective if you're visualizing something that is not going to happen like in the near future. So that's why you visualize something in the near future, which if your goal is to have a house, you visualize the next step in the process towards that. So for me, that my goal is to go to Funnel Hacking Live. So the next step in the process would be to check my analytics on my podcast and then start monetizing. So then I visualize myself checking my analytics. That's the process. I don't visualize Funnel Hacking Live. You only visualize the end result to expand your comfort zone of expanding your comfort zone to letting expensive or nice things into your life, like through your comfort zone. Because if you're uncomfortable with having expensive and luxury stuff, then you're not going to be able to get it. But that's why you should visualize the goal to expand your comfort zone, but that won't help you move towards your goal necessarily. Eliminate importance, remain calm, and trust the alternatives flow. This is something to remind yourself a lot. So when you eliminate importance, you become aware. And then you should remain calm, stay patient, be calm, know your role in the game. You get to choose your role, and know that you're just an observer, and know that your goal is already in the bag. You're just moving towards it. Like, your goal is already achieved. So remain calm in that knowledge and trust the alternatives flow. And that will allow you to take the most optimal path forward, the path of least resistance. Stop battling with yourself and switch your attention from the negative to the positive. That is huge. Most people, like I said earlier, just only think about the negative. They're just thinking about how bad they look, how skinny they are, and they're just battling themselves because they're basically saying, oh, why do I look so bad? Like, that's just a battle. That's an inner battle. So just end that battle. And then it will be like lifting a huge burden off of your chest. And switch your attention from that negative to the positive, and then start thinking about the positive. And that has so much benefits. Allow yourself the luxury of deserving the absolute best. this is something that I was conscious of when I was looking to book the hotel, or not even the hotel, the plane ticket. When I was on a call with my friend looking to book the plane ticket to Orlando for Funnel Hacking Live, and I was thinking, I was trying to get the cheapest flight possible, the cheapest everything possible. But that was basically me saying that I'm not worthy of having the best. So then I was conscious of it, and then I was just like, I'd stopped stressing over the money, and then I just bought the ticket. And that was just holding me back, that mindset. And it's tough to get over because it's been instilled in me for 17 years. But now that I'm conscious of it, every single time I can start to destroy that mindset and then start allowing myself the luxury of deserving the best. Like, think about that. That is amazing. You can literally allow yourself to deserve the best. And then eventually you will get the best. Achieving the unity of heart and mind is enough to bring outer intention under the sway of your will. So this is huge. Outer intention is basically the world realizing something for you, the world helping you along with your goals. And do not underestimate the power of outer intention, because if you've ever had a lucid dream and you woke up in your dream and you realize you're dreaming, you can do whatever you want. You could fly, you could summon an elephant, anything. All that stuff is outer intention. And that outer intention is a thing in real life as well. It's just a little bit more inert. It's not as free as in dreaming. In dreaming, outer intentions, like manifestation time, is like moving around in air. You can move around in air all you want, super quickly, efficiently. But in waking reality, outer intention is more like tar. Like, try moving around in tar. It takes a while. And another example is in dreaming, you're like a little paper boat on the water. And if you just blow it, it'll move. That's outer intention, that wind. And that paper boat is like the dream space, the alternative space in dreaming, unrealized sectors of the alternative space. And then in real life, in reality, the boat is a frigate. So imagine like the Titanic, and you try and blow it, it won't really move. It will move over time depending on how big your sail is. So if you have a big sail that catches the wind, then it will move. And that's what the unity of the heart and mind is. It's basically a big sail. So if you unify your heart and mind in agreement, you're basically placing a big sail on top of your boat. And it will be able to catch the wind of outer intention. And it's because your heart can use outer intention, but it has no will. So your heart can feel outer intention. It can use outer intention, but it has no will. So it does it seamlessly and randomly. But your mind does not have access to outer intention. It cannot feel outer intention, but it does have will. So if you unify them in agreement, then you will be able to use outer intention under your will. Let me get some water. So, the key conditions for mastering outer importance. So we were just talking about outer importance, and these are the conditions for mastering it. The first one is awareness. The second one, reducing importance. The third one, letting go of the goal. All right, let's talk about that. Awareness. First, you need to be aware that it's just a game. You need to be aware of the pendulums placing their script upon you, and you need to be aware that you can choose your own script. And the script is just like a script of the play, how things play out. So in a dream, when you're dreaming, the script is determined not by you. It just happens. The script is almost determined by the dream. technically the script is determined by your mind, but let's not get into that. The script is not determined by you, so the dream just happens. And it's the same thing in real life. Most people, the script is not determined by them, so life just happens. And in life, it's actually determined by pendulums. So pendulums enforce their will upon you. And you're not forced to, but you feel as though you have to follow their script. But if you just wake up and you become aware that you can choose the script of your reality, then that's the first condition for mastering outer importance. The second, reduce importance. Importance, as I said earlier, is what pendulums use to hook their claws into. Importance is what pendulums use to hook their claws into. So if you have no importance, pendulums cannot hook their claws into you. And pendulums will hook their claw onto you, and then you will become an adherent under their will. And you basically live life under their conditions. And no one wants that, but everyone is like that, most people. So if you just reduce importance, then they can't claw into you. And now the third condition for mastering outer importance is letting go of the goal. So I'm not 100% sure on what this means, but I'm going to give my best explanation. So one of the things you do at the outset of creating a goal is to accept failure, accept the possibility of defeat. And then you create a backup plan, and then you never think about failure again. That's a one-time event. Also, you drop desire of the goal. So drop desire. So if you remember the analogy of wanting to, if you feel the desire to lift your arm up, it won't happen. But if you actually lift your arm up right now, then that's intention. Desire does nothing. Desire is only destructive. It's bad. Actually, I don't even know what I'm talking about. But let go of the goal, drop desire. All right, that's the three conditions for mastering outer importance. Consciousness is a product of society. So this is what I was touching on earlier, where society molds your consciousness, it molds your brain to be of its will and then follow its interests. That means that your consciousness is not of your best interests. It's of other people's best interests, of all the pendulums of society. So your consciousness, basically your brain, is not formed at your best interest. Now that is crazy to think about, because for 17 years of my life, my brain has been formed and molded and shaped to benefit society, but not in my best interests. And so what needs to be done is I need to change that, and I need to change it to my best interests, and slowly but surely form and shape my brain to be in the form to serve my best interests. You already have everything you need. All you have to do is use it. That is, I don't really even 100% understand this, but I think he's hinting at you have your heart. Your heart knows everything. And then if you can just, I think he's hinting at that you don't need, or everyone has unique qualities, and you don't need, what am I trying to say? A lot of people think that they can't be great because they don't have great qualities, but they do. Like, everyone has their own unique qualities, and everyone has the potential to be a star. But the reason why they don't is because they just fall under the delusion of society, fall into the trap. All you have to do is turn to the heart, for the heart has access to all knowledge. The heart is connected to the alternative space, which the alternative space has everything that was, is, or will be. And when you're dreaming, you're flying through the alternative space. That's why there's crazy things that happen in your dream. And waking reality is just the manifest part of the alternative space, the realized section. So since your heart is connected to it, it has access to all of that. So you just have to turn to your heart and listen to it. The will to have depends on you alone. Yeah, you are the only person who can decide if you're going to be successful or not. Like Jeff Bezos, no one else decided for him. He decided for himself. Everyone else told him that he was going to fail, or I don't even know if people told him that, but I assume that people did because that's just society. Like all the thoughts in his head that were placed in his head by society told him that he was tried to tell him that he was not going to do good. And that was just trying to hold him back. And then good thing he ignored it, because the will to have that Amazon, the will to build the Amazon, depended on him and him alone. Now I know a lot of other people helped out, but he was the founder and he is like the main dude. But you guys get what I'm saying. Embrace the knowing that you are worthy and do deserve the absolute best and are capable of achieving whatever you desire with all your heart. This is greatness. That quote, embrace the knowing that you are worthy. There's no difference between your heart and the richest man in the world's heart. They're both equally perfect. And you deserve the absolute best. And you're capable of achieving whatever you want with all your heart. But it's just your mind that is holding you back. Your mind is the only thing that's holding you back. And what's holding your mind back is the society's pendulums. So just work on changing your mind and forming it. Just read books. I'm a firm believer that as long as you read the right books for the right amount of time and study them and put them into your mind and let them change your worldview, then you will be successful. And that theory I'm testing as we speak. Currently I'm not successful, but I'm doing what needs to be done, and I'm reading as much as I can and changing my world template, my worldview through books. And once you guys see that I am successful in the future, you guys will be able to see that most of that is due to my worldview. And it's because I read books and changed my worldview to be that of a successful person. Wake up and shake off the illusion. So it is an illusion that you are going to, it's an illusion that you are going to have to work a 9 to 5 for the rest of your life. It's an illusion that you are not going to be happy. It's an illusion that you're not destined for greatness. It's an illusion that you are not capable of achieving whatever you want. It's an illusion that you think that you're not as good as someone else. It's all an illusion, so just wake up and get rid of that illusion. Just shake it off. This happens to me all the time. I fall asleep and then I become the victim of circumstance. And then I wake up and I shake it off. And I'm like, okay, I can actually dictate my reality. You can dictate the rules of the game if you consciously exercise your rights. If you don't do this, if you don't consciously exercise your rights, pendulums will. And pendulums will decide the rules of your game. And pendulums only look out for themselves. And they force their adherents to do things for the pendulum's good, not the adherents' good. So you don't want to be living someone else's. You don't want to be feeding someone else's pendulum. You don't want to do all that. You want to live for yourself. That's what you came here for, to live for yourself. So start doing it. You have nothing to lose. What have you really achieved living with the framework of reasonable arguments? I mean, really, for me, I've been living within the framework of reasonable arguments for 17 years, and I have achieved absolutely nothing. Yeah, I've achieved getting a nice physique, whatever. I'm still poor. I'm still broke. I have like a couple $100 in my bank account. Nothing. I have no money. What have I achieved? Nothing. Like, I'm not even a high school graduate. Like, I will be, but that is like, if that's the only thing that I've achieved in my whole life, being a high school graduate, well, I mean, that's something that everyone achieves, and it's fairly easy to get. So, really, I have nothing to lose because I have not even achieved anything. So, what is there to lose? Like, if you think about it, the default in society is working a 9-to-5 job for the rest of your life. That, I mean, disregarding the fact that it's not what you want to do, but in practice, that is the easiest thing to do. To sit at a desk and pluck a keyboard for hours. That is so easy and simple. Now, there is a lot of mental battles that goes on with that, doing things you hate, but like in theory, like just that action that is the easiest thing. It's so simple. So that is not an achievement. Absolutely nothing. So why don't you just realize that there is absolutely nothing to lose, and it's all an illusion, the fact that you think, and I'm still struggling with this, I think that I'm going to lose it all. I'm scared to take risks because I don't want to lose it. What am I losing? Absolutely nothing. It's all an illusion. It's all in your head. It's all society's molding. Allow yourself to be you. This is like, allow your soul, allow your heart to be itself. Do not try and change yourself under other people's will. Do not try and live for someone else. Just be yourself and live for yourself. Be yourself. Like, there is only one of you, so why wouldn't you live yourself? Like, I wasn't myself for many years. Like, that is the worst. Like, just think about it. If you're not yourself, I'm having a hard time putting this into words, but it's just such a shame if you were born into this world and you're unique. You're your own unique individual, and you just decide to copy someone else, and you decide not to be yourself. No, you have this huge opportunity that no one else in the world has ever had, and it's to be yourself, be you. No one else gets to be you, and you're just throwing it away. And I still struggle with this, but this is something I'm working on. Be myself. The ones who achieve success, wealth, and fame in abundance are the ones who do not buy into the deception. This is all there is to it. Society has a huge, stigma, society plays a huge role in holding people back. And it's all a deception. It's all an illusion. There's a reason why only a select few are great and only a select few have the most money. Like, have you heard of the thing that 1% of the world holds 99% of the money, and the top 0.1% of the world holds 90% of that money? Yeah, it's because the 99% of the rest of the world bought into the delusion, and they bought into the deception. But that 0.1% realized, okay, I can do whatever I want. The only person that's stopping me is myself. If I just ignore the delusion, then I can achieve success, wealth, and fame in great abundance. That is why they have, it just makes sense. Why do they have 99% of the wealth? How did one person in the world How did 1% of the world get 99% of the world's wealth? I don't know if this is the real numbers, but it's something like that. How did 1% of the population get 99% of the resources? Like, that just doesn't make sense. And the only explanation that I can think of is the fact that there is deception, there is an illusion, there is a huge barrier, a mental barrier between the rest. Everyone experiences it, even the 1%. But it's only the 1% who actually push through it. And I am beginning to push through it, and I will join that 1%. And I'll reap the benefits, and you guys can as well. And it's literally, that's all there is to it. Just, it's the mental game. The heart will find the path of self-expression if the mind will let it. That's the heart will find the path to be itself. That's only if the mind lets it. If the mind gets rid of the deception, gets rid of the illusion that it needs to mimic or copy someone else, as long as the mind gives it permission or lets it, then it will. Let me get some water. The more love and gratitude you feel towards your guardian angel, the stronger it will become. So for context, everyone has a guardian angel. Now, it's up to you to believe that or not, and I don't even know for sure if it's real or not, but if it is not, whatever. If it's not, okay, whatever. But if it is, and everyone has a guardian angel, and you deceive it, and you ignore it and don't give it any love, well, that is not good. Your guardian angel, and you just ignore it, that would just not be good. So you might as well believe that there's a guardian angel. If anything, it will help you feel a little bit more secure and confident. But the more love and gratitude you feel towards it, the stronger it will become. So always give all of your love and gratitude towards it. And that's something that I struggle with because, to be honest, I just forget. And I haven't really placed that much of a intent to actually do that. Feel the joy, but give the pride to your angel. So every time you achieve your goal, feel that joy, but give the pride to the angel. Because if you feel the pride, one, you're robbing the joy from your angel, but two, pride is destructive, and you might as well give it to your angel because it's not destructive, and that's what the angel deserves because your angel helped you get there. You probably wouldn't have gone there without your angel. Do not neglect your angel. Remind it constantly that you love it and are grateful for it. That goes along with the angel needs your energy, but it will not ask you for it. So just constantly love it, and it will get stronger. But if you don't, it'll get weaker. Human thinking and behavior is determined by reliance on the pendulum world. That is what I'm talking about. The reason why there's 1% of the world that succeeds, the reason why is because they ignore that. They know that their thinking and behavior is determined by the reliance on the pendulum world. So they get rid of that reliance and they change their thinking and they change their behavior as a result. That's all there is to it. Pendulum power relies on importance and lack of awareness. So the pendulum needs importance, not you. So you can just get rid of the importance, and the only person that's suffering from it is the pendulum. You will be freed from the pendulum once you get rid of importance. And lack of awareness is what what allows the pendulum to control the adherent, because the person just is not aware that they're under the control of the pendulum. Establish union between heart and mind, and you will have anything you could wish for. That is just outer intention at your will. Use outer intention at your will. You'll get anything. I mean, you can get anything you wish for in a dream instantly. So if dreaming is like a paper boat and waking is like the Titanic, well, all you have to do is just wait a little bit longer, but it will happen. Remember that if you are empty, there is nothing for the pendulums to hook onto. And if you are aware of the meaning of the game, pendulums will not be able to enforce their scripts onto you. That's what I'm talking about. Emptiness basically means no importance. So if you're empty and you have no importance, pendulums can't grab emptiness. So they can't control you. And then if you're aware of the meaning of the game, pendulums won't be able to force their scripts onto you, which means that you can choose your own script, which basically means life doesn't happen. You control your reality, and you get to determine how the play plays out. It is a game and not a fight. That is a lot of people need to hear that. People have a tendency to fight for their spot under the sun. But it's all just a game, and it's just a mental game. You just have to realize that you can just choose your place under the sun. You don't have to fight for it. By winning the pendulum game, you gain freedom of choice. So if you're under the control of a pendulum, that pendulum controls you, and you don't get to choose what happens. But if you are not under the control of a pendulum, then you get to choose where you end up in life. And you get to choose your own destiny. Importance and pendulums prevent the mind from entering into a relationship with the heart. So if you're under the control of pendulums because you have importance, well, that's going to stop your mind from entering a relationship with the heart because your mind is so immersed in that role of the game. Your mind is immersed in its role. And so the mind won't have enough time to be able to hear. The mind won't even be able to hear the heart, much less have a relationship with it. Love yourself unconditionally. Okay, so you are the only you. So why not love yourself unconditionally? Like, always love yourself. And this is still something I'm working on. It does not happen overnight, I don't think. I don't know. Allowing yourself to have is the most important condition for dreams to come true. So if you're trying to become a millionaire and you don't even allow yourself to have it, like you are still having the mindset of being poor, well, then you're not going to have it. So if you just simply allow yourself to have like all the money in the world, well, then you'll get all the money in the world. It is more effective to feel something once than to repeat it 1,000 times. So this is referring to affirmations. When you speak affirmations like, I am confident. Okay, you can repeat I'm confident 1,000 times and it will not have any effect. Why? It's because you're not feeling that. But if you're like, I'm confident, like if you feel I'm confident and you feel that feeling of confidence and you feel that like attitude or you feel the vibe, that's why I used to say I'm a beast, and I used to look at myself in the mirror and I'd be like, man, I'm a beast. Like I used to get hype. So I would feel that emotion, and that is way more effective than repeating it, just mundane monotony. The constant chatter of the mind is an inner monologue. So your mind is constantly talking. And you've probably known this. Like the mind is always talking, and that's just an inner monologue because it's just talking to itself because the heart can't understand it. The mind can't understand the heart can't understand the mind. So the only person to talk to is itself. Your mind is literally just talking to itself all day long. Your heart is just as good as the heart of others. You deserve the absolute best. That's what I was touching on. Your heart is the equal perfection, equal perfectness as Jeff Bezos' heart. So what makes you think that he deserves more than you do? You both equally deserve the best. So go out and get it. Pendulums hide the fact that every individual has unique abilities. So everyone does have unique abilities. And that just makes sense because you're that you are unique and you are not like anyone else. Like, your genetics are different. Your face looks different. Like, you do not look like the same as anyone else. Even if you have an identical twin, there are still a little bit differences. Plus, your heart is completely different. That's something you can't necessarily see, but everyone knows that people have a sense to them and they're all different. Like, there's a different vibe around you than there is to me because we're different and we're both unique. And pendulums like to hide the fact that everyone has their own unique abilities. So since everyone is unique, it just makes sense that everyone has their own unique abilities and like good skill, like talents and stuff. It just makes sense. But pendulums like to hide that fact. And they like to hide the fact that if you take advantage of those abilities and actually use them, then you'll be great. They hide that because it doesn't serve the pendulums for you to be great. It only serves you. And that's what we're all about. Living how we want. Because it is your life and you came into this world. And if you live great, it doesn't affect anyone else. And if anything, if you live terrible, it does affect other people because they feel bad. So that's all there is to it. You you can and do deserve the best. And you can get the best. And I know that I am still in my mom's basement. I'm still in my parents' basement, according to podcasts. I still have only like a couple $100 in my bank account. But I just want you guys to see that, yes, I have all this stuff, but I'm changing my mindset to that of a successful person. And since the world is like tar and it's inert and it's like moving a cruise ship, it takes time. And the first step is to change your mindset. So it's not going to happen overnight, but it will happen. And time is going to move on anyway, so you might as well move with it. Allow yourself the boldness to believe in the unlimited capabilities of your soul. Excuse me. So everyone has their own unique soul, and everyone's soul has unlimited capabilities. And this is obvious. Like, there's no arguing against it because look at Jeff Bezos. He started in a garage, I think. I don't even know his story. But let's just assume he started in a garage. And since he has unlimited capabilities, he became the richest man in the world. He could have done more because he has unlimited capabilities. But that is still crazy. Like, think about it. His soul and your soul are equally perfect. They're not equal because you're both unique. But both of your souls, there's nothing worse about your soul than his soul. Like, both of your souls came into this world the same. Like, not the same, but you know what I mean? So you both have unlimited capabilities. It's just the difference between you and him and me, also me and you. So the difference between us, you and me, and Jeff Bezos is we listened to our mind. And our mind said that we can't do all that. So our soul didn't get its time to shine. But Jeff Bezos didn't listen to his mind, and he let his soul do it. Allow yourself the boldness to exercise the right to your own amazing individuality. Everyone is their own unique individual. So And the fact that it is scary to be your own, like to be you, just proves the fact that like in every, okay, so the fact that it's scary to be you and everyone is like that and everyone is average and 99% of the world is everyone and 99% of the world is like average in the wealth and everything else. And then it's scary to be you, so it makes sense that only 1% of the world does it. And guess what? 1% of the world has all the wealth of the world. So it just makes sense. I'm starting to get a grasp on like reality and get a grasp on how the world works. Keep importance to a minimum and act with conscious awareness. That is the last one of today. And keep importance to a minimum. Don't let pendulums get into you, and act with conscious awareness so you can actually choose your own destiny. Now, a lot of these were repeated just in different phrases, and that is on purpose because those are important things and you need to know. And that's what Vadim Zeland said. All right, well, that is the end of the episode. To wrap things up, don't forget to download your favorite episodes and subscribe to the Ascend Momentum Show. But before you guys leave, make sure to remember the Eagles.